joined live by senior sports journalist Vimal Kumar for a chat on the upcoming T20 World Cup match between India and New Zealand. This match has turned into a do-or-die game for India given their loss against Pakistan in the opening game of the tournament. Though India can still qualify for the semi-finals, they still have to go through the Kiwis, who in the recent past have been a thorn in India's flesh. So what does India have to do in order to beat New Zealand? Well, let's take that question straight to Vimal Kumar. Vimal, thanks for joining us once again here on CNN News 18. Vimal, there's some breaking news coming in. PTI is reporting that India is going to field an unchanged 11. The same team that played Pakistan in the opening game of the tournament is going to be fielded against New Zealand. Given how we fared so poorly against Pakistan in the opening game, do you think that is the right way for India to go forward, or do you think that India should have changed something in their lineup?
First of all, thank you, Edwin, for having me on this show. I really enjoy chatting with everyone, and especially the young fans who keep watching this broadcast. So, I'm little surprised when I read this PTI news coming from Dubai. They have been saying that, contrary to the popular opinion and the debate which is going on in every media, the TV channels, the newspapers, and obviously on social media, that there could be, and not one or two, there could be as many as 3 changes. But Indian team seems to be giving the indication that there could not be any changes at all. Which for me is it's very surprising, because yes, on the one hand you can always argue that the mentor Mahendra Singh Dhoni's philosophy, not to panic. You don't want to give a message to the opposition that the first match you lost and suddenly you are making too many changes. Because essentially, if you look at CSK, and Dhoni's philosophy has always been to back the players, not to make too many changes just after one game, unless and until there are fitness issues. But right. I have a different take. It works in CSK in IPL because you have a 14 matches to play. You can you can be allowed to make that kind of experiment. But this match is different. This is a do or die game. Had India not lost to Pakistan, I would have not made any changes. But New Zealand, New Zealand has also lost to Pakistan. So this is the do or die game. It's a quarterfinal, virtual quarterfinal for both teams.
Exactly.
Both teams are expected to win against the three of the lesser teams in the group. So I think there has to be some changes, 1 or 2 or 3, I don't know. But to say that you will not make any changes, I find it slightly, difficult to digest.
Well, these are source-based information that we are getting from Dubai right now. So there is no saying what could change over the next 24 hours. Now, if in case India is supposed to make a change in their playing 11, what do you think would be the most significant one? During the India-Pakistan game, many experts were there, especially the Pakistani experts who were there. They constantly reiterated the fact that it was always a wise decision to take 3 spinners along with you in any team whenever you're playing in the UAE. And this is coming from from a group of individuals who have seen Pakistan perform in the PSL and who have seen Pakistan play most of their international games in the UAE. So they do have a point when they say that we should take 3 spinners instead of 2 spinners and 3 fast bowlers. So do you think, given that logic, Indian team would be, contemplating about dropping Hardik Pandya and bringing in Ashwin, or making some such changes to the bowling lineup? Because it was the bowling that actually was the most shambolic out of all our performances from that India-Pakistan match.
Definitely. See, I don't mind a team losing a match because Indian batsmen did not score enough runs. They did not give the way Indian bowling surrendered. It was also, it was complete capitulation. That was shocking, because if India had managed to get 1 or 2 or 3 wickets, it was still acceptable. To lose from a margin of 10 wickets, which has never happened in the history of India-Pakistan contest, it was slightly a little too shocking. But on the other hand, the changes we have been talking about, and I think one change, it has to be there. And I'm not going to Hardik Pandya or 3 spinners. I will come to that question a little later. But first thing first, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, by any logic, doesn't make sense to have in your playing 11. You see, and I'm not, what Virat Kohli and Ravi Shastri are doing, that they are just merely going by Bhuvneshwar Kumar's reputation in the past. He has been a top class operator in the new ball
Absolutely.
with the white ball cricket for India. But if you look at Bhuvneshwar Kumar's form in IPL, he managed just 6 wickets in 11 matches. He was not
Exactly.
he was not at his parsimonious best as well. So basically, when you are picking Bhuvneshwar Kumar, you either expect him to pick up the to pick wickets either on the power play or death overs, or
Right.
keep the economy under check, which he failed to do so. While on the other hand, you have the option of Shardul Thakur. He has been in great nick for CSK, for India, in Test cricket, in ODI, in T20s. So even if you don't want Shardul Thakur in place of Hardik Pandya, which is understandable, but why not Shardul Thakur in place of Bhuvneshwar Kumar?
But again, Vimal, like you said, we need to look at the whole spin equation there, because it has been the spinners who have been, blocking or stopping that leak of runs, that flow of runs for the opposition. Pakistan did that quite effectively. We have been seeing how other teams have been faring well, doing really well with
Right.
their slower bowlers, with their spin bowlers. Vis-a-vis England, they have been doing really well with their slower bowlers. Do you think there could be a change as far as in the spin department? Because this is something that has been debated to death. That Ashwin is the only right arm spinner in the team. Varun Chakravarti, Ravindra Jadeja, both of them are left-handed bowlers. So just for the sake of variation, just to bring that extra bit of edge into our bowling, do you think Ashwin does become a factor here?
I think Ashwin must play in this game against New Zealand for two reasons. Because as we just discussed, that it is the most crucial game for India. It's a do or die game where you need someone like Ashwin's stature, experience, guile. He understands and can handle these kind of pressure cooker situation better than any youngster, whether it's Varun Chakravarti or someone else. So purely from that point of view, Ashwin has to be there. By cricketing logic, as you just pointed out, because spinners are playing significant role, whether it's restricting the opposition run rate or picking up the wickets in the middle, Ashwin should be there. Who he should replace? I think, I know it's slightly harsh, and especially the kind of controversies we have seen. Muhammad Shami. I think it will not be easy,
Oh
because
wow! Okay.
people will make different kind of conclusion. They will assume. But I think purely on cricketing reason, Muhammad Shami, your experienced bowler, fast bowler, he had a bad day. Replace it with another player who is an experienced chap like Ashwin. What it does, it gives you variety as well as the experience. And you have two fast bowlers, Shardul Thakur and Jasprit Bumrah,
Right.
and these three spinners. So I know this is slightly a little too unconventional for Indian teams template. If you look at, they are not somebody. They are not like that kind of bold or radical. I assume this is slightly radical. But if there is any opportunity to do that in such an important game, why not surprise your opposition with this kind of radical thinking?
So, so you are suggesting that Hardik Pandya should not be dropped from the team? Is that what you are saying?
No, see, we have debated two places. There has to be a place for Shardul Thakur, which he should
Right,
replace.
right.
There has to be a place for R. Ashwin. Either he should come in place of Mohammad Shami, and if you are afraid of dropping Mohammad Shami for any reason, then even if it means dropping youngster like Varun Chakravarti, drop him for a game, because he didn't have a great game either. So
Okay.
maybe just for this game, bring in R. Ashwin. The third and most important question is Hardik Pandya. The inclusion of Hardik Pandya has generated a lot of debate, and discussions. And unfortunately, Pandya has, imbalanced the Indian team equation. So I think, if you and I'm not saying just it's my opinion. Someone like Sunil Gavaskar says that Hardik Pandya doesn't deserve a place purely as a batsman.
Right.
Maybe a Hardik Pandya of 2020, I would have still expected the 2021 version
Exactly.
purely as a batsman. Not why, because
Yeah.
he didn't have a great IPL season. He just have one good cameo for Mumbai Indians. If you
Right.
look at his 2 seasons for Mumbai Indians in 2020 and 2021, purely as a batsman, he doesn't make it for even for his franchisee team. Even though, because he's such a, and I could have understood that if you don't have a finisher like Ravindra Jadeja or Shardul Thakur or Rishabh Pant, you have three players who have a similar kind of batting style. What
Right.
Hardik Pandya provides you, swashbuckling, hard hitting. So these
Exactly.
things can be
Exactly.
managed. And
Mhm.
more importantly, and the next question is who should come in place of Hardik Pandya? I think Ishan Kishan, because
Okay.
Ishan, if you look at left-hander, top order batsman, this is
Mhm.
something Indian team. A lot of people have argued that someone like Ishan Kishan should be batting top at the top
Right.
of the order, just to make slightly things easier. Because if you look at Rohit and Rahul, both are batting in a similar fashion. So I think Hardik Pandya's position is also not that secure in the playing 11.
Okay, now let's talk a little bit about the New Zealand side. They also have been struggling really a lot in this tournament. They were beaten quite handsomely by Pakistan. In fact, I would say in ways worse than Pakistan beat us. But what do you think would their strategy be? They have lost Lockie Ferguson. He was one of their most potent bowlers, but they still have Tim Southee and Trent Bolt in their lineup. Do you think that there is a possibility that they are going to employ a tactic or a strategy which is similar to that of Pakistan, firing in Bolt and Southee at KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma?
I think you just rightly pointed it out, because I think if New Zealand has to make a match of it, it has to be Trent Bolt. Trent Bolt is a game setter for New Zealand, and we saw what he did in 2019 World Cup semi-final, big
Exactly.
game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have seen what he has done in World Test Championship final. So, and New Zealand has become a bogey team for the Team India of late,
Exactly.
as far as
Mhm.
crucial match, whether it's a
Mhm.
WTC final or 2019. So that thing will always be there, and New Zealand will be slightly more confident than the Indian team, because they might be
Mhm.
thinking that psychologically they have an edge.
But do you
Now,
still think that they have the bowling lineup to trouble the Indian batsmen? I mean, yes,
I
they have Trent Bolt, they have Saudi who can trouble the likes of Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, and maybe even Virat Kohli. But what about the slower bowlers? They have Jimmy Neesham, not in great form. Ish Sodhi was really good against Pakistan. Mitch Santner looked a little out of place. Do you think that they have the bowling lineup to trouble this Indian batting lineup, because that is going to be the key for them? I don't think they're going to find it too difficult to face a bowling lineup. It's the batting lineup that they'll have to counter more.
I think that's right, but I still believe, despite all the weakness, the current weakness in this team, and obviously Lockie Ferguson is a big blow, out and out pace bowler who can, and he was in great nick until that last game in the IPL against CSK. But overall, I think Bolt will be a crucial factor. Why I'm saying that? If you look at Trent Bolt, if he gets 2 wickets in his first 2 or 3 overs, then he sets up the match. Because
Right.
historically and in this tournament, if you look at any team which has lost two or more than 2 wickets in the power play, which is the first 6 overs, they have lost the match. So basically, New Zealand best chances lies what Pakistan did against India. Shaheen Afridi taking Rahul and Rohit wicket in the first 2 overs. Same thing, if Bolt can do that, I think he will set the game for New Zealand. Let's not forget, Rohit Sharma's weakness has been out and out left arm fast bowler, which Shaheen
Exactly.
Afridi exposed.
Exactly.
Rohit Sharma, he was in great nick, but what happened to Rohit Sharma in 2019 semi-final? This Trent Bolt. So Trent Bolt and Rohit Sharma, I think this matchup, if you look at so far in this T20 World Cup, the team which has managed to do well with their matchups have done well, if you look at.
Okay.
So in that sense, the matchup between Trent Bolt, left arm quick seam bowler, against the two right-handers, Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul, if he gets these 2 wickets, I think New Zealand bowling attacks will be taken. New Zealand will not be worried about their bowling.
Okay. Okay. And what do you think should be the strategy as far as India is concerned? You spoke about the matchup between Rohit Sharma and Tim Southee, Trent Bolt. How do you think that the Indian team should be playing this out? Because the reason why I'm asking you this is because if India loses the toss, as it has been the trend, the team that wins the toss is going to bowl first and bat second, with the expectation that there'll be some dew. And this is Dubai. We saw in the last match that there was a bit of dew. And again, given Virat Kohli's form as far as losing tosses is concerned, there's a good chance that we will be batting first. So, what do you think should be a Team India strategy? Should they be just seeing off Trent Bolt and Tim Southee in the power plays, and then hope that in the next 15 overs, in the next 14 overs, we are able to, put up a score that is big enough for us to defend, even if there is enough and more due while we are bowling second?
I think if you look at toss has obviously historically, if you look at toss is something which Virat Kohli doesn't manage to win too many, but that's obviously that is uncontrollable. We should not be dependent on that. But what India should be doing differently. See, the team which has been doing well, they have good openers, anchor openers. In that sense, India have got two anchors, good anchors like Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul. But the problem part is for India that teams have also which have won the toss, they have failed to set up a good total. They have always struggled in figuring out what should be a good total. In that sense, India, even if India bats, they will not be sure what should be the good total. So maybe that is why maybe someone like Ishan Kishan, someone who comes in with a fresh air, goes on, hits hard, teams are not too many strategies. They are aware of his gameplay. While if you look at whether it's a KL Rahul or whether it's Rohit Sharma, teams are aware where they have to bowl, and that is what they did. If you look at Shaheen Afridi, what Shaheen Afridi did to Rohit Sharma, it is not something secret. It's an open secret. Rohit's vulnerability against the new ball, left arm quick. So that is something. So why don't you try something different? So I expect Indian team to do something different, especially at the top order when you have conservative batsmen like Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Rahul, all three trying to drop the anchor, trying to consolidate. You need somebody hard hitting, to set the pace, to break the, everything. Like Indian team still goes in bats in a template which is like set. First 6 overs, aram se, then they will go ahead. So I think that needs to slightly change.
Well, Vimal, I think we are out of time here. So thanks a lot for giving us your analysis ahead of this game. We really hope to see India winning this game, because if they lose, they are most likely out of the tournament. They only have a mathematical chance of qualifying for the semifinals. Well, for our viewers, Vimal Kumar is going to be live on CNN News 18 tomorrow. He will be part of our preview show. So do remember to catch him on CNN News 18 tomorrow. For now, that's it from me. Thanks for watching.